But who's thinking about that child? That's where
Mhm.
my focus always goes back to. This is someone's child who's going to have to deal with this.
And I hear that, and I certainly 100% agree about. I think the child's name is Dream. I think that's her name. Um, yeah, I think there's not a whole lot of thought and consideration given to her. But I also have to just speak as a black woman about how easy it is to vilify black women in the media. Um,
Ashe, Ashe.
Again, I don't know anything about Blac Chyna. I don't know her what her mama named her, what's her government name. I don't know her history. Um, but I know I just can't believe that. So as a woman, it's one thing if I'm in a intimate relationship with someone and I choose to share my body or images of my body with that person in the context of a trusted relationship, um, and 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 in the context of you know demonstrating your affection and attraction and however you want to develop your own sexuality within the context of your intimate relationship. I make no judgment about that. I think every woman has a right to be able to make that choice about it. I don't particularly agree when celebrities choose to post their own images of their naked bodies on social media. That's not my thing. I would never do that. Um, I can be a bit of a prude when it comes to like public displays like that. Just as a side note, this morning when I was dropping my daughter off at summer camp, I drove by a man who was in his garden, but just in his boxer shorts, and I felt a way about that. Like it's 9 o'clock in the morning. Why are you in your front yard in just your boxer shorts?
See,
That's problematic for me.
you see how that American Christianity has got you down there in the Central Standard Time Zone.
I'm sorry, it's just not okay. You can put on shorts, like you could put on shorts on top of those boxers. Anyway, I certainly digress. But my point is, if Rob Kardashian allegedly posted these pictures of his ex online, then he took her power away in doing that. It's one thing to say from a sense of empowerment, whether I understand that or not personally, that I'm going to that a woman will post naked pictures or boudoir pictures or whatever of herself online. It's another for someone else to do it to you.
And
And
that's the truth. Like, that's the
and
truth. Yeah.
that is that's problematic. I think it's sexist. I think it's violent. And I think that it is probably um, a compounding sense of feeling demoralized and denigrated to know that that's now being circulated by everyone for their own use. And then for people to feast on that with their own judgment and humiliation and insult. I don't know what kind of woman she is, but I can't imagine that that doesn't affect her at all. I can't imagine that that's not problematic for her, whether she quote unquote signed up for this celebrity life or not.
Now, I
Um,
need to
she-
play devil's advocate
okay,
because
let's.
we have to balance this conversation. I believe that what Rob did to Angela Renee White, born May 11th,
You
1988,
got, you got
professionally
that.
known as Blac Chyna. Thank you, Wikipedia. Shout out to Wikipedia.
Oh gosh, you better verify your
You know,
source.
I keep some research on the left, but I think what he did to her is horrible. But
Allegedly.
allegedly horrible. Okay, thank you. Almost got sued in the show that I'm producing. But the
Money for that.
question
I don't have the money for that. I'm just letting you
none
know.
of us do. Ain't nobody got money for that. But the question is, maybe she deserved it. Now
So
let
what
me
does that
let me
mean when
play.
you
Hold
say
on. Let me play devil's advocate and let me give you that part of Twitterdom that is speaking in support of them, and I'm going to try and just consolidate some of the things that we've been hearing. So maybe if it's true that she had sex with him and then went and had sex with the next guy and sent him a picture, that she got what she got. And maybe if it's true that he paid for her breasts to be redone after she had a baby, and she's flashing it around and has the next person, utilizing them or whatever, however you want to phrase that, then maybe she deserves all of that. Maybe that's true. There was one person who tweeted out, and I'm not going to use the verbiage he used because I'm trying to keep this as family friendly as possible. But it was something to the effect of he paid for her breasts to be redone, and now she has the next man sucking on them. Stay safe out there, kings. And I mean, that really brought me to a pause. Like, it brought me to a pause, but because you're the psychologist and I'm the philosopher, and I'm going to look at it from a non-humanist theoretical perspective of you get what you get, tit for tat, is there validity in that? And if so, why not?
Okay, so there's absolutely no validity in that. That's a non-starter.
Maybe.
But let's get to the why not.
Perhaps.
Perhaps. Right? Oh my gosh, this is also problematic.
Take a breath before you talk.
I know.
Remember, I was playing devil's advocate before you go off.
And I still love you after the end of this show. Because I know these are not your own thoughts, but thoughts of those who may be listening or maybe who need to hear a word, as they say. For me, all of that is still so deeply embedded in an overarching sense of sexism and really misogynism, like hate towards women. So let me break it down for you. The fact that a man contributed to the augmentation of a woman's body does not give that man ownership over that woman's body. She is still a human being and still a person with her own thoughts, cognitions, wills, feelings, etc. So, I don't care what he paid for. It still belongs to another person. And it still is extra problematic, if you will, that you have so little respect for the fact that this woman is now the mother of your child. Like, for me, that's a whole nother level of expectation that should come from how you should treat that person. Because how you treat the mother of your child is a reflection of how you actually feel about your child. So,
and I really need you to please say that again, because I don't think people get that part.
I think it's particularly a blind spot for a lot of men, whether they be men who have status and celebrity or men who are just working a 9-to-5 trying to make ends meet. How you treat the mother of your child is, at the end of the day, a reflection of how you feel about your child. Because your child is only an extension of you and that woman. So she was good enough for you to lay down with, to make the baby. She needs to be at the very least good enough for you to not disrespect her out in public.
And I think that's really important, because it's not necessarily about him not being angry. And I don't want people to think that what we're saying here is he is not entitled to his anger. He is not entitled to his hurt. He's not entitled to his pain. I believe he's entitled to all of that and then some. But
let me add another layer.
What you do. Okay. I'm sorry. Go on.
Let me add another layer. I also think we have to collectively start having more complicated expectations for how people respond to their hurt and anger, right? So I'm also not saying that he needs to be a saint and be like, I turned the other cheek and I uphold her and put her on a pedestal. I'm not saying that.
No.
But I also need us to recognize that there needs to be a firm line in the sand about how far you can go with your negative reactions to somebody. And for me, allegedly, he crossed the line.
And this is where, rest in peace and bless her soul, my grandmother, Lucinda V. Bell, comes into play. Because that woman would always say, keep your business out
Mm.
these streets. Keep my business out these streets. Like, it was about, if this is your family and you're talking about these situations, you don't take and put that in the street. Now, if she's sending this stuff to you and you took it and then put it up on Instagram, who then took and shut your account down, as well they should, because it
Right.
places them in liability and in jeopardy. But if allegedly these are the things that happen, then you can call her all kinds of names and this and that and the other thing and the third, and I wouldn't necessarily be mad at you. But the minute you take it upon yourself to expose a person in this way in public, not only are you showing that you are of low moral fiber, but you are also breaking the damn law.
Yeah.
And let's get into that for a second, Dr. Nikki. Let's talk about the revenge porn law that he broke, allegedly broke.
Allegedly. Right. So, this, and for me, this is where the idea that, this whole situation is really a reflection of a lot of the sexism that is so ingrained in our society, that revenge porn laws are a thing. Right. And I'm not saying that women don't engage in revenge porn, but I bet if I looked at the statistics, I bet I would find that men are more likely to be the culprit of it than not. So what is revenge porn? And so right now we have 38 states plus the District of Columbia that have revenge porn laws on the books. And so in order for it to be a criminal charge, it has to be pictures or videos of another person's intimate body parts with the mutual understanding that such images will be kept confidential. So again, what you do between you and your bae, your wife, your spouse, your partner, whoever, that's fine. Or partners, whatever y'all choose to do together, if it's done with a mutual expectation that these will be kept between you, then that's fine. That's not the problem. But when you begin to distribute the images without that person's consent, and the expectation is that distributing the images is with the intention to cause serious emotional distress to the person, that's when we have revenge porn. And that's when it becomes a criminal offense. Now, by and large, most of the states' laws have it as a class 1 misdemeanor, by and large.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? But I don't know what happens, because you talked about it being like maybe a federal issue, because I don't know if it changes because it was via Instagram, which is now worldwide, right? So,
well, that's the thing. I mean, the latest I read on the story in preparation for our show today was that her lawyers are looking at all options. And because it was disseminated over the internet, they may try the angle that it breaks federal law, which is a different case, a different scenario. I'm not sure how that would work. Dissemination of porn, period, could be local, could be state, could be, national. I'm not really that versed in how that all works or how that would be defined. However, this could be a case to look at in the future in terms of how
that's true.
People interact with each other and how they go online and post these things. I mean, let's take a step back for a couple of weeks and look at the young lady who coerced her boyfriend to kill himself.
Yes. Yes.
And a lot of people were saying, oh, well, he should have been of stronger character and he had problems and he should have this and he should have that. But when they went over these texts and he said, I don't want to do this, I don't think I can do it, and she said, get back in the car, that's a clear directive. Like, you clearly crossed a line there. And I think the same can be said in this case. Someone is teasing you and taunting you and sending you this stuff. Break dishes. Didn't Rihanna have that song, I'm breaking dishes? Break some dishes. Lord knows I have broken many sets in my house. Got a cup from this set, a dish from that one, right? Break your dishes. Do what you need to do. Get upset. Call one of your mini sisters. Sit in on somebody's fashion shoot. Do whatever you need to do to get your mind away from that. but you took it upon yourself to not. I mean, you told a story. It was a narrative. These
Yeah,
were
allegedly.
several. Allegedly,
Allegedly.
allegedly.
So
Allegedly, you posted several photos up on the